Hi friends, I just finished a tough 8-round boxing workout. If you go and do a tough workout and then you're looking for a little bit of stretch, release, some exercises that are going to reiterate the work that you did and some to balance it out, here's a great 20-minute practice. Come stand on your yoga mat. Yeah, so if you're like me, we just got finished, I'm a little bit sweaty and I'm ready to cool it down. Take a nice wide stance, arms out by your side. If you've turned this on and you're like, but this is the workout today, it's gonna do you right as well. Stand wide, arms down by your side. Take a focus out in front of you. Close the eyes if that feels good. Take a full breath in, full breath out. Gratitude for the ability to show up for yourself. And that goodness and showing up for yourself inevitably makes us better, stronger, fuller for those we interact with in the day as well. Stretch the arms up to the sky. Exhale, fold it right down to the center. Release the head, shoulders, neck here. Let yourself hang. And then walk both hands over towards the right leg. Heel toe it out a little bit more. And we're looking for a nice long stretch to the inner thigh here. I'm going to keep the seat pretty high. Later on, we'll come a little bit lower, but as we get going here, stay up high. And then walk the hands over to the other side. Now you're bending the left knee and trying to keep the left leg straight, left foot flat on the ground. Broaden the stance enough until you find a nice stretch and extension through the inner thigh. Okay, and then we come back to the center. Turn the toes out, bend the knees a lot. Take your elbows up to the knees. As you widen here, a little bit of a wiggle. And then take it to your hands and go one shoulder forward and the other shoulder. So whether you're warming up here in the body or cooling down, a little bit of movement, dynamic stretch, great for us. We'll get into the static, the holding stretches in a moment. Reach the arms back up to the sky. As you do that, heel toe your feet in. And then again, exhale and fold over this time with straighter legs. Feet hip distance apart. And then bend one knee at a time. And back and forth. Feel free, like me, to take the hands higher to the waist rather than staying down onto the floor, so you have a little bit of room with this. And we're trying to really get into a lot of groove and movement in the hips here. Make a beat in your head and dance along with it. We want good hip action. All right, let's come all the way back up and then travel to the top end of your sticky mat. Inhale, lift the arms up to the sky. 2 rounds of sun salutation A. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Just letting breath, body kind of get in a groove together. Step back to your plank. Lower down to the mat. Woo, I had plenty of push-ups in my practice. That just wants to sink on down. This feels nice. Lift through the chest. Okay, downward facing dog. Hips go up and back. Full press of the hands down and forward. Hips high, press down and back through the heels here. Next, inhale, look to your hands and make your way forward, feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, half lift, extend from the hips out to the crown of the head. Hands can be higher here on the thighs or lower depending on your hamstrings. Fold over, stand up, reach to the sky. Palms together, center of the chest. Let's do it one more time. Inhale, lift the arms high, big stretch. Exhale, forward fold. Half lift. Step back to plank. Lower flat down against the mat. Cobra. Downward facing dog. So if you are taking this after a different workout, whether you were lifting weights, boxing, jogging, cycling, inline skating, this is going to give us a good full stretch out. Look forward in between the hands. Step all the way forward. Maybe that workout was sitting at a desk and stiffening up all day, and now you need just a little bit of full body stretch. It's going to feel good too for that. Arms up to the sky and then palms together, center of the chest. 2 breaths here, stand steady. One more. Take the arms out in either direction. Pick your right knee up and into your chest. I'm going to try to mirror you guys. So right knee up and into your chest. And then that same hand comes to the front of the shin. Just tries to lift it up a little bit higher and then set it down. Do it to the second side. Left knee lifts. Left hand to the front of the shin. Lift it up a little bit higher and lower it down. Go back to the first side. This time, can you even lift your left heel up? Woo, little releve as you drive the knee high. Second side, hold on to the left knee, lift up onto the right tippy toes, and down. Good, hands go back out, and instead of the knee going straight up, we're gonna do a big circle with it. Take 4 circles out and around on the right side first. And then 4 circles out and around on the left side. Try to get in as big of a circle and range of motion, really including strong engagement in the abs. Okay, so if we went into the inside and then out, now we're gonna try to go out and in. So it looks like this, out and in. This one, for most people, feels a little bit odder, but 4 times here, out and around. All right, second side. Three, losing my balance. It's always harder after the workout. Shake all the things out. Back up at the top of the mat, good old tree pose. Place your right foot onto the left leg, tree pose. Arms to the sky. So when my heart rate is a little lifted and I'm still coming down off of that practice, I want to stay standing and slowly let the heart rate come down before we get to seated stretches. So that's why we're standing up here still. Take that same right foot and kick it back behind you. Hold on to the foot with the same hand into a good quad stretch. And then release. Second side, left leg goes into tree pose. I'm just turning my body so that you guys get a different angle, but you can stay as you are. Left foot onto the right leg. Any height, above or below the knee, this one's gonna feel better to me. Lower down, just because it was high on one side doesn't mean second side has to match it, vice versa. Really always listening into our bodies, what's gonna feel right. Tree pose, second side. And then change it into the quad stretch. Kick your left heel to your seat. Left hand grabs hold of the front of the foot and try to stay straight up and down. So notice I'm not leaning forward here. Straight up and down. And release. All right, I hope that good warm up at the beginning has allowed your heart rate, if it was high, stepping into this, to come down a little bit. And let's get into the legs. Lunge here. Right foot forward, left foot back. Set the back knee down to the floor to get us started. Walk the hands up to the front thigh. Lift tall through the spine. Let the hips just kind of move down and forward a little bit. Lift the left hand up and take it a little bit over towards the right. You can even hold on to that wrist, give it a little bit more tug. I know after a big full workout, you might just be ready to jump in the shower, grab your protein shake, whatever it is. But if you can give yourself this extra time to stretch, slowly cool down the body. So now we've sent our hips back, right leg straight. The recovery really will be easier on you. And this slow cool down with the active stretch, great cardiovascularly for the body. Okay, that right leg now, I want you to send it out to the side. Remember how we started standing on both feet? But now I want you to slide that leg as much out to the side as you can. And I said we're going to get a little lower later. This is where we're lower. We're still looking for a stretch through the inner thigh. If you need to change the way the foot is going, feel free to. And the hips are sitting back, almost like you're in a hero pose or virasana on that left leg. Okay, walk it back up. Both knees come in. And then left foot forward, right knee stays back. Let the hips again come down and forward. Walk the hands up to the front thigh, lift the torso. Right arm up this time and reach on over. Again, you can hold on to the wrist, help with that stretch. Work here is kind of releasing tension that might have been built up through the different movement that came before this. Send the hips backwards, left leg straight now. Flex the left foot, pull it up. And then left leg all the way out to the side. If you're already finding a good stretch, you're kind of there. You're where you need to be. Keep sliding the foot out. Come further down to the forearms. This one's a tricky one for me. There's other things going on with knees, hips, all the things. So kind of work it in, find the best. And if you're thinking, I don't know, I'm just not getting it, don't worry. It's just a couple more breaths here. We move along. It's good to try things. And then come on back, do all fours here. You know this one well, cat and cow. Just move the spine up and down. Never gets old to me, cat and cow. One more round of cat and cow breath. Okay, and then we have made it to sit down on our bottom. Stretch your legs straight out in front of you. Nothing big and fancy here, stuff we know. We do these stretches all the time because, well, they work. So seated forward fold. Here, I want you to have some release and extension through the spine. I know those two things might not go together. but a sense of softening through the front side of the belly as you extend long through the spine. And sometimes that means more bend in the knees to allow the tension to come out of the low back or out of the hamstrings. So just kind of finding your spot. Where is it working? If you're loving that and want to stay there a little bit longer, feel free to, or switch it up to a straddle now with the legs wide. I always sit butt at one end of the mat and try to press my heels towards either front corner of the mat. It's just a guide point. And then come right on down to the middle. Stay on the forearms or on the hands. Do flex your feet and try to point the toes and the knees straight up to the sky here. These are those static stretches. So if we were doing a lot of movement around or even little bits of movement with the breath at the beginning of the practice, now we're trying to really settle in. It's not for too long, just a few more breaths here. And then walk it over to one side, reach both hands. I like to go either side of the leg so that the torso has to rotate with you as well. Don't overthink about this stuff. It's just, where does the stretch feel nice? Walk it across the middle, on over to the second side. So if you notice one side of your seat, your butt kind of coming up off of the mat a little bit more than the other, as long as the stretch still feels nice, not overly so, not overly tight or tense. You can always back off. Okay, and then right on back through the middle. Bring your torso upright. Grab both legs back into the center. Soles of the feet outer hip distance apart. Take your hands behind you. This is actually one of my favorite things, like big windshield wipers. Take the legs side to side. There's so much torque and rotation in the torso and the hips, shoulders necessary in boxing, which is the workout I just did, that I really need a moment to just find that rotation opening, slow, steady, really controlled after the fast pace. Okay, stay with the windshield wipers on one side. The right leg leading, lift the left arm up, little twist back, and then go on over to the other side. Good. Come back to the center. Sit cross-legged if it works for you. Cross-legged with your feet right underneath the line of the knees. So this, for me, with that close-in cross, is quite a stretch through the hips right now. Come forward. And then turn the gaze low, even close the eyes. This is where we're settling in to finish off. Disturbing yourself as little as possible. Change the other foot in front into that close-in cross-legged seat. And you can keep it as is. Come to a tall spine. Place a hand over belly, hand over heart. Trace the breath from the belly through the ribs up to the heart. From the heart through the ribs back down to the belly. Whether this was a short stretch for you on its own, or you doubled it at the end of a workout. I hope you're feeling good here. Ready for the next thing. Thank you all so much. Namaste.